Hi and welcome to today's video in the Study Unifees Daily with series. Today's video is for those of you who are planning to study in Canada. Today, we will describe the step-by-step process starting from day one and ending when you actually start classes in Canada. First, of course, it's very important to make that decision that you are going to continue your education in Canada. This is a decision that should not be taken lightly. A lot of analysis, also taking into account all the available information, is most necessary when choosing a destination. Like all destinations, Canada has a lot of positives going for it. Basically, it all starts the very day you decide that you are going to study in Canada. The day you decide that you're going to study in Canada, you go into stage one. Stage one is probably the most time-consuming stage of all the stages involved in studying in Canada. You have to do a lot of things simultaneously. As you can see, the first part is financial planning. You have to decide whether you will take an education loan or show your finances otherwise. At this stage, it is important to get counseling from bank officials on what exactly the specifications needed to get an education loan are and what the process is. Also in stage one, you should decide whether you want to go with a regular study permit application or whether you want to go to STS, which is Student Direct Streams. These are two very different pathways for applying for a visa. We will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each subsequently in this video. Also in stage one, it's important to start preparing for an English proficiency test. You will need this test to get admission into a Canadian institution. You can do either TOEFL or IELTS or PTE. Before you actually start preparing, it's a good idea to look at the content and format of all three tests and then decide which one suits your own English proficiency and range of skills and abilities. In stage one, it's also important to research a whole lot of universities and colleges that offer the course you're interested in. Remember, you must choose from among one of hundreds of DLIs or designated learning institutions. At this stage, if you're interested in working after you finish your studies in Canada, it's very important to see whether that university and the course you're going to study has a postgraduate work permit attached to it or not. So, research universities, check for postgraduate work permit availability, and then create a short list of universities and colleges that you want to apply to. In stage one, you also have to collect a whole lot of documentation, starting with your academic documents, all your transcripts till date, and at least 2 to 3 recommendations from teachers who have taught you crucial subjects in your previous level of education. At this stage, you should also collect your co-curricular and extracurricular certificates. At stage 1, it's also a good idea to start working on your SOP. Now we come to stage 2. Stage 2 happens when you're already preparing for your IELTS, doing all your university research, doing a little bit of financial planning. But only after you have selected one or more universities that you want to apply to. Stage 2 is basically applying for a conditional offer. To apply for a conditional offer, go to the university website portal, fill in your online forms, submit all your academic credentials. Depending on the university, you should get your conditional offer within 1 to 3 weeks. In stage 3, which starts when you've received your conditional offer and also fulfilled the IELTS, PTE or TOEFL requirement. Stage 3 basically is applying for an unconditional offer. To apply for an unconditional offer, submit your IELTS, PTE or TOEFL. Submit any remaining documents or evidentiary proof. Stage 3 ends when you actually receive your unconditional offer. After stage 3, when you have been accepted into a university, you will have to decide whether you want to apply through Student Direct Stream or the regular study permit. SDS or Student Direct Stream is the preferred application pathway nowadays. A majority of students are using SDS to apply for the student visas to Canada. The advantages are obvious. Fast processing for your visa application. An average time of 20 days to actually give the decision on whether you've been granted a visa or not. Documentational proof is also much less in SDS, and the chances of getting visas is a little better with Student Direct Stream. However, not everyone is eligible for Student Direct Stream. Only students from Antigua and Barbuda, China, Costa Rica, Morocco, Peru, Senegal, Trinidad and Tobago, Brazil, Colombia, India, Pakistan, Philippines, St. Vincent, and Vietnam are eligible. So now we come to stage 4. Remember, stage 4 is after you have gotten your admission letters from the university and decided that you will go through SDS. We will talk about the process for regular student permit later. First, let's look at SDS or Student Direct Stream. Two things that you must understand about SDS is that you are required to pay 1 year's tuition fee to the university. That is, before you apply for your visa. In addition, you'll also have to deposit $10,000 as a guaranteed investment certificate in an authorized bank. This is for your expenses once you are in Canada. For the SDS visa application, you have to collect several documents. Firstly, your identification proof, which is usually your passport. Then, receipt of the application fee for the SDS and letters of admission. You will also need your IELTS or PTE or TOEFL, along with all your academic transcripts and your SOP. In addition, you will have to submit a receipt from your college or university that demonstrates the fact that you paid 1 year's tuition fee in advance. Also, you will have to submit your guaranteed investment certificate, which shows $10,000 deposited in an authorized bank. You may also be required to submit a police certificate along with an upfront medical exam confirmation and report. Though the financial documentation for SDS is not as stringent as that required for the regular study permit, it's still a good idea to show a very strong suite of financial documents. Study Unifees recommends that you show your sponsor's proof of fixed assets, proof of an education loan, or proof of funds by way of a bank statement, and also your income tax returns. Next, we come to stage 5. Stage 5 occurs when you've collected all the documents you need for your SDS application. So, the first thing you need to do in stage 5 is to make sure you have all your documents ready. To check this, go to the IRCC website. So now, we come to stage 5. Stage 5 occurs when you have collected all your SDS documentation. And now, you are ready to apply for Student Direct Stream visas. To do so, just go to the IRCC website and fill the SDS application form IMM 1294. Upload scanned copies of all the required documents. Then, pay the application fee of Canadian dollars 150 and the biometric fee of Canadian dollars 85. After you do so, you will receive a link to your biometrics request letter instructing you on how to provide biometrics. Once your biometrics form is accepted, also go through your medical exams. After your application is evaluated, you will receive a letter of introduction, an ETA, which is an electronic travel authorization or a temporary resident visa to enter Canada as an international student. So, this was the process to apply through Student Direct Stream. Now we will look at the process to apply through the regular student permit. First, let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of applying through the regular student permit. The advantages are, there is no mandatory GIC. Whether you want to deposit 10,000 Canadian dollars in an authorized bank is entirely up to you. Also, the tuition deposit is only 6 months as compared to 1 year for the STS. But there are disadvantages too. Generally speaking, students who apply through regular student permit have to show more financial documentation, which is more comprehensive. Also, there's a much longer processing time. It can take up to 8 weeks. And there's a significantly lower success rate for visa issuances if you apply through the regular student permit. Next, let's understand the eligibility to apply for a regular student permit. You must have 55% in your grade 12 for undergrads and over 50% for grads. Also, your IELTS overall band must be 6.0 for undergrad and 6.5 for grads. So now we go back to stage 4. Remember, this is the stage when you have been accepted into a Canadian institution. And this stage is basically gathering documents for your regular study permit. Just like the STS, you will need a valid passport and also a letter of acceptance from a DLI. You will also need passport-size photos and the IME, that is the Immigration Medical Examination. You may also be required to submit a police clearance certificate. In addition, you will need a lot of financial documents that demonstrate the fact that you will be able to afford all the associated expenditures. Study Unifees recommends that you include comprehensive documents about your sponsor's proof of income, your sponsor's proof of fixed assets, proof of an education loan, or a bank statement with proof of funds, and also your income tax returns. Stage 5 is when you've got all your documents ready and now it's actually time to apply for your regular student permit. In stage 5, first, log on to the IRCC website and create your own account. Complete the application form, pay the application fee. If required, take a biometrics appointment and pay the biometrics fee too. Attach all your documents and submit your application. When you are applying through regular study permit, you may also be required to attend an interview. If and when you are required to attend an interview, the next stage is to wait for a visa decision. If your visa application has been approved, you will receive your study permit. You will get a port of entry letter of introduction, a temporary resident visa, or an ETA, an electronic travel authorization, depending on your country of origin. No matter which pathway you choose to apply for your student visa, whether it's STS or regular study permit, immediately after getting your visa, the very first thing you should do is book housing immediately. This is to ensure that you have somewhere to go to once you land. Also, book your flight tickets early because most airlines will give you a more reasonable price providing you apply early. Upon arrival, complete all the registration formalities in the university, attend the orientation, and then start classes. Thanks for watching this video on studying in Canada. Like, share, and subscribe for more insightful videos like this. For your IELTS preparation or to get your study in Canada plans on track, contact Study Unifees at studyunifees.io. Till then, all the very best and take care.